Alright, so I hope you guys are doing very well. I'm doing fantastic today because I actually started my diet. Yeah, I know, right? Crazy. The diet consists of eating around 3,500 to 4,000 calories. Of course, I'm not going to, diet hard. I'm not going to slash 1,000 calories. I'm not going to do an starvation diet just yet, which, it's probably not gonna happen, but we just gotta throw it in there because, a lot of people start with starvation diets and they end up being skinny fat, like I was, I once was skinny fat. Right now I'm just fat, but that thing is just going to transform because I'm going to make sure to eat as much protein as possible because we know that, or if you don't know, your body can only process so much protein, right? And I was once a victim of that. I once, consumed around 250 grams or maybe 200 grams of protein. That was too much, maybe for my kidneys and whatever, right? Whatever doctors say nowadays. But still, the good amount of protein is around your body weight, a little more than that, because if you're trying to do a high protein diet, then you're gonna consist of chicken breast, beef, turkey, or whatever kind of protein you want. But the main protein I'm probably going to consume is around turkey and what else? Turkey, beef, a little bit of beef because I need to look at the nutrition label 100%. I need to make sure I'm looking at the nutrition label 100%, even though calories do lie and they're not accurate at all. I still need to measure my progress. So whatever calories I'm going to consume, I'm going to have to put them down on the calculator from the phone. So today I ended up digesting and consuming around 3,000 calories. And I know what you're gonna say. Whoa, you still got like 500 to 1,000. To 1,000 calories. Are you gonna eat more? And no, I'm not gonna eat more because during the morning I fasted like 5 hours plus a little bit. I had some protein bars and a little bit of Pop Tarts, like protein Pop Tarts, which it's a good substitute for food, but I prefer eating solid food that's going to nourish me along the day. And so I ended up eating around 30 minutes ago. I did 3 ramen packets, the little bags, and I did a pound of ground turkey. So that was my last meal pretty much. And you don't have to copy me, but that's just how I'm going to try to track my calories along the day, have different meals along the day, and hit my caloric intake before midnight. Because once I do and want to start tracking everything, depending on how many calories I eat in the week, that's how I'm going to measure my progress. Because one day I can eat 3,000 calories like today, and then the other day I can eat around 3,500, 4,000, maybe up to 4,500. And that's just because the reason why real quick, the reason why I didn't want to start at 3,000 or 2,500, it's because it's going to take a little space in my head, right? Because the whole day, and even today, even though I started dieting, and I had to diet because I was already getting fat, like a lot of fat. It might not look like because of the face, but if you see my body, my upper body, my lower body, you'd be surprised. This right here, this face, even though it has a little fat, it's not chiseled, but it's okay. It's not that shredded, but I do have a lean face, but I got a round body, and I'm like, damn, that's the worst body anyone can get, and that is true. And so I'm not gonna bore you with this anymore. And so the thing I wanted to talk about was teen obesity. A little word break. I know I'm not sponsored, but dude, these cans of liquid death, resting peach, they're pretty good, man. I'm telling you. My favorite one is resting peach, and dude, I've consumed like 10 bottles already of this. They also have like sparkling water, but I'm not a big fan of those sparkling water. I don't know why. I just like this one, that's it, I just like it because of the taste, and you know, it's got a tiny bit of caffeine, a considerable amount of caffeine, but it's like not even like 60. It's like 30 milligrams, and you know, it's not that powerful, but you know, it does kill your thirst, or whatever this is, murder your thirst. But the main thing of this video is teen obesity, child obesity, kid obesity, right? If you were obese in the past, right? If you grew up fat, you can probably relate 100% of this, and especially if you came from a Mexican, Hispanic, Latino background, because there is a big pandemic, and I'm being serious, you know, it's a big pandemic of fat kids running around, you know, everywhere, schools, you know, churches, everything, you know, everywhere there's fat kids. And you know, that brings me memories. When I talk about this, it brings me memories of how I used to be fat, because I had a okay childhood, you know. I was raised, I want to say, you know, my parents did their best, you know. I don't have a dad, but still, you know, I was raised by my grandmother and my mom. And so I got inherited some values from them, and that was that, you know, you need to eat not a lot, but you know, you need to finish your plate. If not, right, we're gonna hit you and shit like that, you know, just normal, you know, Hispanic shit, you know, like chancla, you know, the fucking sandal, you know, fucking flies everywhere, and the fucking bell, you know, like right. You might be laughing, but you know, it wasn't funny for me, because dude, I'm like, I don't want to finish my food, you know, I had still the full plate to eat, and so you know, I had to sit there no matter what time it was and just finish that plate, you know, and everything. If not, then I wasn't going to be able to get up. And you know, I ended up, you know, getting whipped sometimes, because you know, I just didn't want to eat. But you know, the cool thing was that I used to eat various foods. And so when I started eating various foods, you know, there wasn't a lot of junk food I ate, you know. It was rarely. I really didn't consume junk food. I consume more nutritious food, but you know, I over consume more nutritious food, you know, instead of the junk food, which that was, it was still bad, but you know, I was growing. The kid is growing, you know. I was like 7 to 10 years old, 7 to 10 years old from what I can remember. But when I came to the US, that's where everything switched. Over here, you know, depending on personal stuff, which I will get, you know, in the future, I started to eat more out, you know, restaurants, fast food chains. You know, the restaurants over here, oh man, fucking food is delicious, but you know, it's just greasy. A lot of oil, a lot of fucking bread, a lot of tortillas, a lot of everything, a lot of condiments, you know. And that's where my naive mind and body didn't respond too well, because I started to gain pounds. Even though I tried to, you know, exercise in school, and it was required to, you know, to, you know, do the mile and shit like that, I just couldn't do it. I hated exercising. I don't know why. Maybe it was because, you know, I got shame of it. Maybe because I got body shamed, or maybe because I was fat shamed. And you know, at the time, you know, I didn't really fucking care. You know, I just wanted to live. I just wanted to eat, because you know, that's how I guess I cover my traumas, with just fucking food, right? And you know, that, I guess that's too deep, but it's relatable to the topic. And so, you know, when I see that, and I see it from my past, I'm like, damn, bro, all these kids might be going to the same thing I'm doing, you know? I mean, to the same thing I went through. And I'm like, fuck, man. How many kids, you know, how many big families of Hispanics, or, you know, it doesn't matter the race, but, you know, in my case, it's Hispanics. How many kids are this fat, dude? Because, you know, they're just so fucking obese, man. Dude, they look like little Michelin mans, you know, like that fucking tire dude from the, you know, the fucking tires. They look like the Michelin man. And I'm not even kidding, you know, fucking tire after tire after tire. Even the face right here, you know, they got double chins, dude. They got fucking butts over there, dude. And it's bad. Because, you know, the reason why I'm doing this topic as well, it's because I went to a buffet, you know, before doing my diet. I went to a buffet, a Chinese buffet, maybe like 3-4 days ago with my family members. And dude, you'd be surprised how many kids were around in the tables. There were so many kids around. I saw like a couple of skinny kids, but you know, that was just like the demographic of like 20%. The rest was just fat with their fat family. And I'm not here to judge anyone, but from what I can see is what kind of values and morals and what kind of eating habits they're giving their kids, and it's pretty bad because one day they're going to realize that, damn, there's so many, you know society pressure, there's so many peer pressures around me that if they're not mentally strong, they might do a wrong thing, and that goes to the lines of suicide, taking their own lives, because I was once there. I didn't want to live. Sorry, I got mucus, but oops. Anyways, no cuts. But yeah, I was once there because I'm like, well, I don't want to diet down. That seems like hard work. I don't want to do it. Maybe I'll take some pills. Maybe I'll inject something. But at the end of the day, what I end up what it ended up happening was that I had to go through extreme diet, and then from that strict diet to an starvation diet because I wanted to look like an unreal character, which I achieved. But I just didn't like the way I looked because now I was way too skinny, way too malnourished, and about to die as well. So I've been near death situations a couple of times, very close, man, a few months, if not weeks of taking my own life, and that's coming from a person that is pretty average or maybe under average. And maybe you can relate to this, and I'm pretty sure you can. The people watching this, if not, share this with someone that can actually relate. Man, this tastes so much better after you ate. I was actually drinking this today in the evening, and it didn't taste the same. I was dehydrated. I'm like, damn, bro, it does not taste the same. But I came home, I didn't drink a lot of water. I drank like a little mix of Prime, those little mixed packets, which tasted like ass. But still, I ate my food. Oh, you know why? Because it was a fucking ramen. I put the little packets that had a lot of sodium, and so that's why I'm fucking thirsty as fuck. And this is murdering my thirst. What an excellent ad. Yo, you know what to do. Liquid Death, sponsor this. Man, this is really good. I can't stress this enough. If you're gonna try it, go ahead and get it because, well, or any flavor. But this right here, dude, it will murder your thirst. I'm not even fucking kidding. Anyways, the teen obesity rate in the US, last time I checked, was between Hispanics and black people, around 14% to almost 20% in the whole United States. And that's not including Mexico, because Mexico has the biggest obesity rate I've ever fucking seen. I come from there. No shit. There's like, at least, if you walk outside, out of 20 people, well, out of, let's say, not 20 people, out of 100 people, 50 or if not 60% of them are obese. Not just overweight, obese. I'm talking about like big gut, big everything, right? But that's just because we instill habits in us from a very young age. And so what I want to encourage you is that if you have a brother, a sister, a sibling, a friend, that is a teenager, or is starting to look in this world of health and fitness and nutrition and everything along those lines, and they want to get better, make sure that you tell them that they need to get better at what they're consuming and eating, because once they do, they will realize that, okay, I'm not supposed to eat this, but just this once, right? Just this once, I'm going to enjoy myself, or in moderation. Maybe today I'll have some Cheetos, and then tomorrow I'll have some ground beef with some broccoli and something else, right? Some type of carbohydrate, maybe some potatoes, right? Who knows? Or rice. But there are several foods that your body needs, right, in order to grow. Because I'm talking about kids, teenagers. I was once a teenager. You were once a teenager, and you need to nourish your body correctly. Because if you don't, guess what? You might not, produce as much testosterone, or might produce enough hormones in order for your, your growth to be better and to grow healthy. Unfortunately, I'm one of those demographic of people that did not grow up healthy. I grew up with excess of fat and excess of who knows how many fucking, unhealthy habits, and excess of hormonal issues, and excess of health issues as well. So, I do have a very bad medical family history because everybody in my family had cancer at one point. Everybody in my family had like prostate cancer. They died from diabetes, high blood, all of that stuff that, you know, it's relatable to this topic of health issues. My family at least had one of those. And, I need to be real careful because both families, on my end, both my mom's family and both my dad's family, they come from those issues. And so, maybe it does run in the family. From what I know and from what I can tell you is that my father was indeed fat in his teenage years. And then he started switching, right? So, it's like a phase. And so I'm like, damn, okay, so it's somewhat genetic, but not really because, I didn't have the information. I actually thought it was pretty cool back then that my dad was actually fucking fat. And, he became a fucking G afterwards. But I'm like, what? Well, I mean, okay, if it's genetic, then why didn't I do something about it? But, that's just from the past. Can't do anything about it. And just to end things off from this little podcast, I want to make this podcast number 6 because yesterday I actually I made a video draft of me talking about how your environment when you're losing weight affects you. And that's probably not going to go up because one, I was kind of tired, I had brain fog, really bad brain fog. And, I was just talking and talking without, any topic or without anything backing it up. And so I'm going to make this podcast number 6. And, if you want to see more of my videos, they're, down below, or they're probably in my channel. Just click down here, somewhere around here, and click on the newest video because it might be a blog and I'm about to edit this blog. It's going to be a cutting blog and, more about me, I guess, and more, tips and tricks and whatever you want to call it. But, to rephrase everything and, just in conclusion overall, if you have someone, like a family member or anyone that is a teenager or even a friend, dude, my friend, even though, I'm funny and handsome and, I say a lot of bad words and I cuss a lot, same thing, and very sarcastic as well, you know what I mean? He knows. But share this with them and make sure you tell them to watch the whole thing because, they can relate. And even though they're not Hispanic or black, any race goes through this. Any kid right now in the 2023 era and above will suffer from kid or teenage obesity. I was gonna say teenage fucking pregnancy, but that's the wrong video, the wrong channel. But yeah, share this with someone, comment down below, like and subscribe, and I'll see you on the next one. Peace.